Continuation of the early 2000s of Brian's life. I just want to remind you guys that if anything that you hear is offensive or anything, it's his life, what he's gone through. So let's keep that in mind. Any comments, leave it in the comment section, and we'll try to get back to you as we can.
And probably I will put this in the description. Most of this stuff probably isn't for kids, and it will be when it is episodes are uploaded. It will be marked not for children because there may be some language and situations that they don't need to hear.
Right.
If you want to sit with your kids and watch it, it may be beneficial because, you know, going back, I had this when I was a kid. Just didn't know it. Stuff wasn't diagnosed or studied, or, you know, you were just a smart ass punk kid and stuff like that. But, and again, it's for my own sanity.
I was just going to say
it,
that.
and it's for anybody else that is going through something similar, especially guys who feel like they can't talk to their significant others or their family because they'll be outed as weak or whatever. You may be, but I personally don't care if somebody, you know, doesn't want something to do. And I had plenty of family, and so, you know, people walk away because of the situation, and like, it is what it is, and I don't have a problem with cutting people out. So, you know, you can always leave a comment, and again, if you're feeling, you know, any certain way, find somebody to talk to. You know, if you have a friend or a family, just talk to them. Don't just sit on it. It's not going to get any better.
And that's a big part of why we decided to do this, to bring awareness to it, but to help him. Like he said, getting therapy right now is very difficult. And therapy is more you talking, someone listening, and sorting things out. So,
yeah, the other person, you know, you're a medical professional, but you're not. You have no experience whatsoever in psychology, psychiatry, therapy, counseling, anything like that. But just being able to, you know, do this, you know, go for, you know, a ride and just talk about whatever. You know, it may start out as one thing and it takes 6 left turns and we end up talking about something else. But just being able to just sit and talk for hours like that, for me, is therapeutic, I guess.
and it's been like that since day one with us. So it's, so we just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
So you may find some things offensive, or, you know, if you're easily offended, this may not be a channel for you. Things we talk about that I've gone through or that I've personally done, it's not out of pride or, you know, patting myself on the back. Most of it's a lot of
SOS moments.
SOS?
Stuck on stupid.
Oh. I was like, shit out of luck. I'm like, what the hell is SOS?
Stuck on stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing I'm proud of, or, you know, there's some stories that I could tell that are now funny, but at the time could have ended, you know, horribly. But 30 years later, you know, what's funny, you know, now wasn't funny then. But again, if you're easily offended, or, you know, you don't, you know, some people don't buy into the whole mental health thing. Like, it's not mental illness, it's weakness. Well, if you're one of those people, don't watch the channel. You're just wasting your time. Go watch Live PD or
And I have to tell
somebody.
you,
Joe Rogan, I don't know.
I've worked in the medical field for a long time. And I've seen just about everything come through the door, from working in a doctor's office to the ER, especially offices and everything. And until I saw him have his first panic attack in front of me, you see it with different eyes now. And I'm not saying that I didn't believe in the mental illness and stuff like that, because obviously,
It's different when you know the person.
and well, I knew my patients, but to see you going from,
But to know somebody
right,
intimately, or, and see that happen and go, it's no different than, a loved one getting cancer or a serious injury. You're like, oh, what the hell? And your first instinct should be to rush to give aid,
right, and
instead of, the hell's wrong with you, spaz? Which is what a lot of people do. And I'm guilty of doing it. Yeah, I'll be the first one to admit, when I was younger, even though I had went through what, then was called, shyness, or, that kind of stuff, I would look at people and go, spaz, what the hell is wrong with them? And that's like, oh, I'm that person.
but I saw firsthand, and we'll get into this as we get later, but how he was treated when it was happening. And if anyone knows me, we all know that I just sit back and watch and don't say anything. Lies. I said lies.
Well, there's the first bullshit.
But I firmly believe that everyone should have somebody that has their back and opens their mouth and says, hey, knock this shit off. This is what's going on. And true to me, it's exactly what I did. But to see him go through that, and to see somebody in the medical field not, I don't want to say believe it, but not to react what I would consider being the correct way.
I'm assuming you're talking about the surgery.
Yeah, the prior to it.
The doctor.
Or even when we went for the test the one time. I just think,
And I had dealt with that from the very beginning, with people just going, you're just stressed out, relax. Oh, well, thanks. That solved everything.
yeah, I mean, so
There's nothing better than, if you have somebody in your family that is dealing with any kind of depression, anxiety, whatever, don't tell them to just relax, or, oh, just take a deep breath, you'll be fine. No, they won't. And you're not helping. You're literally pissing that person off even more. And you're alien. If you want to have a relationship with them, don't say that stupid shit, because after a while, and I can tell you this, I got tired of hearing that from certain people, and it's like, I don't need you around me anymore. Like, the next time you tell me to just relax, we're going to end up in a physical altercation. It's just like, don't do it.
yeah, so
If it was that easy, I wouldn't have any problems.
yeah, and I think my whole thing is, so if you know somebody who's going through this, or if you're going through this, let somebody know so they could be your voice when you don't have one.
You also have to, this is going to sound weird, like, watch who you tell. I think, as an adult, as a kid, no, you're not going to know. But as an adult, you kind of know who you could probably talk to and who you couldn't. Like, I've had, I've learned now who I could talk to and who I couldn't, because of talking to them and then them just walking the other way. Like, yeah, like, I don't believe in that crap.
But if you're in a relationship with somebody,
I'm not talking about relationship. I'm just saying your family. It could be a brother, a sister, a cousin, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your niece, nephew, whoever. I don't want to say watch who you tell. Again, I'm not giving any medical advice because I don't know. I'm just saying, just be prepared for any and all responses.
100%, yes.
But you could definitely get the, can you get away from me? Or you can get the, well, you can get the person that says, what can I do to help? Or you can get the person that says, just suck it up. Like,
But if that person says just suck it up, make sure you don't stop there. You find somebody that could still be your voice if you need it. Because in that moment,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying be picky when it comes to somebody to talk to, but at the same time, you've got to like read the room and know who you're talking to, because
trust your instincts.
You know, like I always tell people, especially if they're going to ask Donna here a question, make sure that you're not going to get upset with the answer. Like, if you may not like the answer, don't ask the question. So when, reaching for help, just make sure that you understand that you may get a negative response. Don't let that stop you from going on to the next person. And if that person is that negative,
keep going.
Like, for me, it was, you can go. Like, the door's that way. See ya.
I'm not that bad, though.
Your favorite line is, I'm not Willy Wonka. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. So when somebody asks you something, they're getting told what the answer is correctly.
Yeah.
But most people aren't like that. They want to hear what they want to hear, not what the truth is.
So I believe you might not like what I have to say, but you're going to hear what I have to say.
And that's why my mom loved you, because you would tell her exactly when she would ask you, what about this health question? Boom. Straightforward, blunt, that's it. Yeah. She may not have liked it. She respected it. And that's why she loved you.
I want people to make sure that they have somebody to be their voice when they don't have one. And that's in all things, not just mental health, but in all things. So we're year 2003? 2? 3? 4? 3?
In that area. I mean, it's the 2000s were, from 2000 to 2010, that decade was, even though the panic disorder started in 93 and went, to today, if I had to pick like a decade that was really bad in my life, it would have been like 2000 to 2010.
All right, so let's talk about it. Why would you say that decade was so bad?
That's when I started to deal with, or maybe that's when I recognized depression. Like, looking back, even as a kid, I had it. Now, my depression is not, I believe that, like anything, there's levels from 0 to 1,000 and everything in between that can happen, or how you feel. My depression is not one where I want to go off myself. Mine is just, I don't want to go out. I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to lay here, leave me alone. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't, I won't eat much. Nowadays, that's like right after Christmas, like right after New Year's, like literally January 2nd. It's like I just kind of like shut it down for January.
So what in 2000 do you think triggered the depression, or in the 2000s?
A lot of it was the not being able to be the father, or a normal father, and take my kids to Hershey Park or Great Adventure, or to the beach or Disney World or any of that stuff. And not for financial reasons, because of what I saw as a weakness. I saw that as a weakness then, as, that fear, that panic. Why don't you just be a man? Why are you being a little bitch?
At what point did you realize that it wasn't a weakness?
It was way later.
So
it was, yeah, I mean, that's way down the road, until I realized that's just who I am at this point. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. So let's
I know you can't go back and change things, but hindsight, say you were on dialysis and you couldn't do those things, would that be different?
I can't answer that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
And I think this is one of the biggest things with mental health.
But yeah, I know what you're saying, but I can't answer that question because that didn't happen. It might have been different, or I may have went, well, if I didn't screw up my kidneys, I've always
Taking the blame.
I've always taken the blame 100% for everything bad that's ever happened. Even if it wasn't my fault, I assume that it's something that I did before
Okay.
that I'm getting paid back for.
Okay. I get that.
That's, I can't stand people who blame everybody else for every little thing that goes on in their life. It drives me up a wall.
And I do it to him all the time.
Somebody who just literally shot someone and they're crying foul, and it's just like, what? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, no.
So
I, right, wrong, indifferent, I always, I deserve this. So this illness was because of something that I had done as a kid or an adult.
okay.
It was my fault. I brought it on.
I'm saying okay, but I don't agree with it. But I get what you're saying.
I never blamed my father. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, this was because of your dad. No, I never blamed my dad for. I had plenty of stuff that I can blame him for, and we'll get to those things. But I didn't blame my mom. I didn't blame my dad. I didn't blame friends or whoever.
Okay, so
I just assumed that, to put it bluntly, I was a piece of crap at some point, and I deserve what is happening. So
do you feel that way now?
To a degree, not as much. I mean, I'm never going to have a high. I don't know what it is.
Confidence?
No, a high outlook on myself. I don't know. I don't know the word. Not self-esteem or anything like that, but I don't like. There's certain people, yourself, your dad, that I'll look at and up on a pedestal of what they've done in their life, and I look at me and go, yeah, I don't know how you're still here. Like, you're just taking up space and sucking up oxygen.
So you started dealing with the depression.
I started to.
And how much did you internalize?
Huh?
How much did you internalize?
Meaning what?
How much did you keep in?
Don't be using these big words.
Internalize was a big word. I'm so sorry. How much did you keep in when you were going through everything rather than saying
all of it?
Which was like the snowball effect. It just kept going.
When the seclusion, like self-seclusion, and like, okay, so we're living in it's a 3-story house, but the apartment was the second and third floors. So the third floor was like the kids' room, like it was like their bedroom and a play area. Well, I took a small section of maybe, I mean, you're talking like a 30-foot long house. I mean, these things were pretty long. I took like an 8-foot section and built, framed out a wall, put up paneling, somehow fit a door on there. I don't know, because I suck at woodwork and doing anything like that. Somehow it worked. And I had like a radio and a little spot to sit on the floor, and that was my sit in the dark, listening to depressing music, and would just stay away from everybody. Leave me alone. I'm not going to bother you. You don't bother me. That went on in like 2002, 2003. I just remember, like, I don't like everything in there. I mean, my favorite color is black, but like, which is not great if you're depressed, and everything's black because it's just dark and dingy, and you feel like you're in hell. But yeah, I had like black candles in there and the weird shit. Like for me at that time, like I wasn't, I don't know, but I would listen. There was like this song, the band Cold. If anybody knows them, they have a song called "Ugly," and it kind of the lyrics in it. I kind of I don't know, identified with them or could be like, oh well, that's me. And for some reason, I would just like loop it and listen to it over and over and over, just to, and just make and other songs. There used to be a song called Superman, and not Three Doors Down, not Kryptonite. I think it was. I want to say Five for Fighting was the band.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like people expect you to be Superman, stuff like that, and which if you're depressed, don't go and seek out depressing shit. Whether it's like I would do it with movies. To this day, still, I do that.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Like there's movies that depress the living shit out of me, but I will watch them over and over again. 7 Pounds with Will Smith is one.
I actually watched that with my class, and I made one of my students cry.
Yeah, I mean you can look at it both ways as heroic.
Yeah.
I look at it as how bad do you have to feel to go to that level?
The beginning says it all. If you didn't see the movie, but the beginning says it all.
To feel that you're that responsible, that you need to.
Was it that he felt that responsible, or he felt like nothing mattered anymore?
No, that was. Well, I took it as he was the cause of. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen this movie by now, sorry. He caused the death of his wife and the other people. So there's that, pound of flesh, and it's called 7 Pounds, and he helped out seven people and offed himself at the end.
Well, he had to, so he can
to help the last person. But I always look at it as like, I've been low, and but like, how bad do you have to get to that point?
I guess it depends on who you lose. I don't know. I don't know.
And there's another movie, and people are going to laugh at this. I cannot watch Forrest Gump.
Life is like a box of chocolate.
I cannot watch him. It is so depressing to me.
It is.
It is so sad. He loses everybody in his life.
Yep.
And people see that movie as like a triumph, and I'm like,
yep.
No. I'm like, no, not to me. It's just so damn
sad.
depressing, and I can't watch it.
But I think,
like, I'll tell everybody now, the first time I saw it, I had, in the middle of it, I was watching it at home. I had to like get up because it would upset me that much.
Did you ever watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing.
But I think because his mental capacity didn't realize the loss as much as what he gained when they were around.
Well, I think also I found myself feeling bad for him because he didn't realize people were picking on him or doing whatever.
Yeah.
But the bigger thing for me with that was his mom, the love of his life, his best friend, But again, people would be like, yeah, but he made the best of it. And I'm like, yeah, well.
But I don't think he knew. Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I would have went the other way.
So is Is there any movie that you've seen that you can say that it depresses you, but it gives you comfort at the same time?
This people are gonna think I'm a psycho for this one. There's Kevin Bacon. There's a movie called Death Sentence, and his son is murdered from like a gang initiation, and he goes out and ends up killing one of them, and then they come back and kill his wife, and his other son's in the ICU or whatever, and he leaves the hospital and becomes a complete psychopath, and it's a revenge movie. Kills them all, and I've had this argument with people where he's dying at the end because he's like he got shot in the neck, and he like spoiler alert, sorry.
It's an old movie.
Yeah. I own it on Prime and I watch it all the time. And he's sitting at the end watching films of him and his family. When the police come in and he's all gray and bleeding, and I'm like, I don't know if that's confidence, but I would be like, he did what he had to do.
Okay.
Illegal as it is these days, he did what he had to do.
Is that the only movie you would say that would resonate with you? Like, not resonate, but give you that comfort when you're feeling depressed. How about that?
Well, you had asked like depressed, and because like he lost his family, and he didn't know his son. He thought his son was going to die. By the time they show you his son,
He's
regaining.
Yeah.
He's off, killing everybody, and as far as I'm concerned, dying on his couch. The other movies that I see that, where I feel bad, but good, they got him in the end. There's a Jodie Foster movie, Brave One.
Okay.
She's her and her, I believe, boyfriend. I don't know if they're married. I think they're getting married. I think they're engaged. I think it's in New York. They get jumped. He's killed. She was beaten real bad. And she's a radio talk show host. And goes on, finds out who these people were and unalives them. The Equalizer with Denzel Washington.
Your mic
What?
Your mic just went out for a second. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah.
Oh. The Equalizer. John Wick. Now, people may go, those are just action movies. It's like, okay, The Equalizer, he didn't, as far as I know, and I haven't seen the last one.
Oh, I have.
I saw 1 and 2. I didn't see 3 or 4, however many there are. Great movies if you haven't seen them and you like revenge stuff.
But
the John Wick, that one literally starts from his wife and like the dog being like killed, and he gets back into it and wipes everybody out.
But do any of them?
Starting to look like a psychopath, but
So, if you had to pick one go-to movie when you're depressed, what would it be?
to lift myself up or depress myself even more.
Both.
I don't think that's possible.
No, two different movies. I mean,
Oh, I was like, I can't depress the shit out of myself and jump up and, start doing the tango. Like something that I feel really good after watching.
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I would say Deadpool.
Except the last one. Yes, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The third one sucked.
I couldn't get it.
I'm not okay. I won't say it sucked. I'm not a Marvel's DC person. I didn't know half the people that they were talking about, and I had no idea what these alternate
Yeah.
universes and stuff were, so I could not follow it. Whereas the first two were hilarious. They were just that kind of humor and everything is perfect. It was to me, Deadpool was one of the it's top 5 funniest movies I've ever seen,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
along with all the action and you know mayhem. So I would say if there's something where I want to just watch some
Stupid, crazy, funny stuff.
completely pointless but hilarious, it would be like Deadpool. I mean, I could also do like Caddyshack and the vacation movies,
Bad Santa.
Hangover, Bad Santa, you know.
So is that
But
what you usually do to get out of your depressions?
no, I usually watch stuff that just makes it even worse. Like I just self-inflict.
It's an
more
emotion. Yeah, it's
damage.
emotional.
Like I'll watch. You know what movie's coming. I swore before, I don't know when we watched it, 3 or 4 years ago. A couple years ago.
About that,
Something.
yeah.
I had swore, that this was a chick flick. I would never watch it. I now own it. I've probably seen it 20 or 30 times, and it's The Notebook. And the first time I saw it, it upset the shit out of me. The ending. Hated it. I just thought that was one of the saddest.
But most romantic. Well, let me ask you a question.
One of my fears in life is having dementia or Alzheimer's or something and inflicting that on somebody, or having to watch a loved one go through it. So, like, if I want to get depressed, I just turn that on and that'll, like, it's fine up until they start flicking back and forth. And the parts where she's not lucid, that stuff is like really upsetting. So, yeah, I don't pull myself out of depression. I just kind of, I don't know if I wait it out or I get fed up with it and then just, and again, it's a couple of weeks after Christmas because honestly, you may see this depending on how far this goes and how long we keep going with this. This room will turn into like Santa's workshop. And that's just this one room that's, 20 by 20 or whatever. And it's got more decorations in it than most people's houses. More than a department store, let's put it that way. So Christmas gets built up like right after Halloween. So there's 2 solid months of just decorating, shopping, doing all that stuff. And then the day after New Year's, everything comes down. And I don't mean just here. I mean everywhere. Everybody starts, stops turning on their lights and everything is now, nothing's green. It's all dead and brown and cold and gray and just... So for me, that's what I deal with now. Even though just had a birthday recently, it's getting older doesn't depress me. I don't care. It's, I don't feel any different. That kind of stuff doesn't depress me. It's just now it's after Christmas. But then I can't put my finger on one thing. It would be feeling like a failure as a father. Constantly feeling like I'm disappointing my kids and not being able to do things or dwelling on the times where I had to see that disappointment in their face.
I get that. Yeah, that's...
Not being somewhere. Like they're at an important game, but I couldn't get there because of my own fear or my own weakness or feeling like a pussy. And so now I'm putting that on me, and it's, I just, it would just spiral and just get worse and worse and worse. Feeling like a failure to my mom. You're supposed to do better than your parents. I did way worse than my mom.
Your mom never looked at you as a failure, though.
No. And did I do better than my father? Well, the bar was only set about 2 inches off the floor, so I had no problem getting over that one. Now, there may be some people that go, yeah, you're no different. But,
That's not true. So I've
No.
never met your father.
no, there would be people that would say that. I'm not saying it's true.
Oh, I was going to say because your father walked away from you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I will take the credit for doing the best, or at least trying.
Right.
And both of my daughters are success. They've, gone on with college, graduated high school, which for my side of the family was a big deal. Graduated, college. Both have degrees. One has a family. The other one is doing her thing, and happy, and they're both a success. So I feel like I'll take that as a win.
Right.
I'm not going to take any credit for it, but at least they're not, alcoholics, drug addicts, dropouts like I was. Not the drug addict or alcoholic, just the dropout part. And I even at times I couldn't work, I would find, what they call now as side hustles, which airbrushing, artwork, to try and make any money that I could. Because by the end of 2000, that delivery job, if you've been following along, I was delivering luggage, lost luggage. That had dried up completely, and I was done. There wasn't anything left. And I think the work slowing down to that point made things worse.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
The financial, going from making, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 a week to $20. It dribbling down to that point where I have to, excuse me, I have to start asking my mom for help.
Now, what age were the girls at this point?
Oldest would have been 12, so 9 and 12.
Okay. And your wife didn't work at that point?
No. She had a couple of, did like crossing guard and some part-time things like a pizza shop or Kmart or something like that, here and there. But the dynamics were, or they were supposed to be, I worked, she took care of the kids in the house. Most people are going to look at that right now and go,
But you couldn't work.
at that time. I mean, was it a combination of the work dried up and I just got worse? And then did I give up and not go look for anything else? Or I thought that there was nothing else that I could do at that point?
Either way, the girls were in school.
It's just, that's how it was. I mean, I
Okay.
can't.
But do you
I'm
think,
not blaming anybody for that.
I'm not saying that, but do you think it would have been easier if possibly she did work?
I don't.
For the financial parts, I
I,
mean.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
There are some questions that just can't be answered. It's like, of course, that would sound like it, like, yes, it would make a difference, but I don't know that.
and I think this is where,
I think honestly, I would still feel like a failure because I'm the one that was supposed to. You're raised at the time. Try to remember this is a different time, and I was born in 1970. Most moms stayed home, raised the kids, cooked, cleaned, did all that stuff. Dad paid the bills. That's how it was. So I'm of that mindset at that time. Not anymore. Times are you probably both need to be working unless somebody is like really successful from a young age and you can afford to live that way and somebody can stay home. I still think it's the best thing if one parent is staying home with the kids. I don't care which one it is. I think the kids are better off with a parent as opposed to daycare and preschool
yeah,
and
I
all that.
agree.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Don't anybody freak out.
I agree with you when they're young. But once they start school,
I even think when they're older. I think somebody should be there when they leave and somebody should be there when they come home. And I'm saying that from experience. Because I was what they called back then was a latchkey kid. You had a key, and you went to school, your parents went to work. When you came home, you were home for a couple hours by yourself. And trust me, nothing good ever came out of it.
but I get that. But
I would have rather my mom or my dad or somebody have been there.
But at this point, your oldest was in sports, right?
Both of them were.
So they came home during sports season. They would have came home, had practice, correct?
Not right away. I mean, you're getting home from school at 3.
What time was practice?
Oh, it's not till after dinner time.
Oh, okay. So when I play ball,
No, because now school stuff is different. School stuff's right after school. But that's usually when they got to high school or maybe middle school age, they would have something where you would practice right after school and you were home by 4 or 5 or whatever. But then dinner. So because we couldn't, most of the guys, again, all of them worked first shift, the 9 to 5. So you couldn't have practice or anything or games because the parents were the coaches, the refs, the scores keepers, everything. It wasn't like it wasn't a professional league. This was club ball, town stuff. And that was another thing that weighed on me is like everybody else is electricians, plumbers, mechanics, carpenters, contract, whatever. I'm delivering luggage.
job's a job.
Looking back, yeah, I don't care if you deliver pizza, DoorDash, Uber driver, cab driver, you work at Walmart, McDonald's, or you're the CEO of Google. If you're trying, so who cares? But at that time, it's just a knock on being a man, or what you think of as being a man is like you're delivering luggage or pizza, and these guys have careers. They know how to do that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can draw you a picture, I can airbrush a T-shirt, but I can't do any of that stuff.
So as time is going on with the depression, how did you start coping? What changed? What were you doing to try to manage it, or
Nothing.
So at what point?
My way of handling a lot of stuff was just don't. It'll go away on its own. And I'm literally like that with like injuries or something will crop up at this point. And it's like, that feels weird. And besides you checking me out and being like, I don't know. I just wait 6 months and it goes away. So, I mean, it's a horrible way to do it. Go get checked out if you can, but that's just how I deal with a lot of stuff. Like if if I don't pay any attention to it, it doesn't exist.
So then what changed?
Who said anything changed? As far as what?
Because you're not sitting in a black room now for hours on end.
No, I mean,
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so
I mean, there's a million things that changed. Again, getting more involved or being asked, like, hey, can you do this for, they used to have this little, they had a boys basketball tournament there. And I'm going like this, like, you know what that is. They were like 7 or 8. They were like these really little kids. And so I actually like painted the backboards one year, like where the box is.
mm-hmm.
And then actually was able to ref a couple of games. So I think some of that helped with confidence.
Okay.
Like, it's like, okay, I can do this. So what else can I do? Not much, but so I actually ended up head coaching soccer in 2002. I think that summer. I think it was 2002. I'm not 100% on that. I know it was 2000. I was assistant. I'm pretty sure 2001. I think it was 2002. I don't remember, but nobody else had any experience or wanted to do it. And I had some experience with soccer when I was younger. So I was like, okay. And we were redoing the field, putting in like permanent goalposts, and but I had like 6 assistant coaches. So, and they were, friends and a couple of parents. So I made sure that if, I freaked out or something happened,
Somebody was there.
there was plenty of people there. No kid was gonna be like left by themselves or anything like that. But that was only 2 years, and then I think it was done. There just wasn't enough girls. It was girls soccer, so there wasn't enough coming up, and that age group just like aged out and was done.
Okay.
But I was assistant again. This was always with the guy Fran. Like, he was like my first assistant for soccer, and I was always his assistant for like softball and basketball. And that was from 2000 to it might have been 10 years, somewhere around there. Now, even when my girls were done and gone,
You were still coaching.
I would go back and either, keep the books at like a softball game, or I had moved out of town at that point in 2009, but I think I was still going back and either helping out with I think it was softball. I don't remember basketball at that point. Yeah, I don't remember. So a lot of that stuff gave me, I guess, some confidence or just a distraction
Okay.
to where things just, I don't remember when they got better or how they got better. It just
Just started to slowly get better.
went on to other things.
All right. We're going to pause here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how things evolved from that point on. All right. We
Yep.
will be back, guys.